All right. All right. So I want to talk today about something very important, and that is our personal oral hygiene. Dental hygiene, brushing our teeth, things that we think are very simple, but in today's world and today, what we consume in our food, what we consume unknowingly a lot of times, the amount of sugar, citric acid, other things like this that break down our teeth, it's something that I think needs to be discussed a little bit more, because there's this common misconception that if you drink sugary sodas or if you eat candy, as long as you brush your teeth, it's all okay. But the problem is that every single time we eat something that's heavy in sugars or simple carbohydrates, all these things turn into sugar, and bacteria in our mouth turns that into acid. What that does is it brings the pH down to a lower level, and when you have a low pH, you actually have acidic erosion of your teeth. And this happens immediately. It's not an 8-hour process. Once your pH in your mouth is decreased, you already start having acidic erosion. So knowing that and understanding that, we need to take a look at the things that we're drinking. Powerade, Gatorade, sodas, all of these things have very low pH, somewhere between 2 and 4, a pH of 4. When our pH gets below 5.5, we already have breakdown of enamel. So we are far beyond that when we're drinking sodas, when we're eating candy. We're just bringing that pH down. We're causing damage to our teeth. People think, oh, well, I can drink a diet soda. If I drink a diet soda, then I don't have any sugar, right? That should make everything all good. But if you drink a diet soda, you also they put citric acid in there. It gives it its flavor. It gives its, all the things that we like about soda. But that citric acid brings with it that very low pH. So even when you're drinking a diet soda, and I'm not going to talk about the aspartame, the fake sugars that they put in there, that could also be, negative, detrimental to our health. That aside, having no sugar, having that low pH is going to cause problems. I don't know if people have seen, there's this video that I think she was a college student, but she put these different purified water bottles out and she tested the pH and actually found that the pH of these waters that we commonly consume had a lower pH than that 7.4, that pH of 7 that would be neutral, that you'd expect from water. But they were getting pH around 5, 6, much lower pH. So there's even water brands that are like, oh, we balanced our pH to 7.4. Some people even make it more alkaline to an 8 and 9 and even a 10 pH. And so that's just one thing that I want to talk about. And I hope that I'm not going to change people's dietary habits, what they eat and drink and consume. But I think it's important that people realize that a lot of things that we see as being very minimally harmful or not such a big deal, bring with it, in my profession and what I've seen with my patients, some of the worst mouths I've ever seen. I've had patients that were addicted to meth, earlier on in their life, and I was fixing their mouth for the first time. And I'll tell you, meth mouth, as it's, quote unquote, it's pretty terrible. The teeth turn black around the gum line. You get a lot of decay, a lot of tooth structures broken down. But the worst cases of dental caries and just overall poor dental health are what some of us call as Mountain Dew mouth. So I don't know what it is, but every once in a while I get a patient who tells me, I drink about a 12 pack of Mountain Dew every single day. and they come in and their teeth are just rotting out of their mouth and there's so much plaque, and I'm like, I don't even know how to start with you. I need to clean your teeth, but your teeth are so sensitive, we have to anesthetize you for a basic cleaning. And then once you get the cleaning done, now I have to go one tooth at a time, and it takes a long time. And these patients are usually, see us on, almost a dozen visits before their dental treatment's even taken care of. And it's really sad to me because a lot of times it just comes back to education. It comes back to people not really realizing that what they're doing is so detrimental, not only to their health, but even their oral health. And it does worry me because before I went to dental school, I didn't look at the ingredients on the back of boxes. I might have read it when I was a kid, when you're bored and you're reading the back of a cereal box. But it wasn't until dental school that I actually understood what those things were in that nutrition facts label. And when I turned it around, I was noticing, everything that we eat, pretty much everything that you buy at the grocery store has processed sugars in it. I looked at the back of a ketchup bottle. There was sugar in it. There was also a lot of acidic ingredients as well, and just ketchup. Barbecue sauce has tons of sugar in it. I feel like you can't find cereal these days without the amount of sugar in one serving that you'd get in a Snickers bar. So it's kind of hard, especially today, and speaking, from someone who, we live in America, most of us watching this, we know that we consume a lot. Our meals are a lot bigger than, if you've ever traveled overseas, you ever traveled to Europe or anywhere else, the meals are not quite as robust as what we have here in the United States. And not only that, when you go to the grocery store here, you'll see so many foods that are just completely filled with sugar. It's unbelievable. But, having said that, with all the sugar here, I think it's just important for people to just kind of take note. Not saying give up sugar entirely, but it's important to know, I feel, what we're putting into our body, how that affects us. And as a dentist, it really is something that, people are always going to have cavities. I do root canals specifically. I'm an endodontist, so I'm a root canal specialist. And everyone's going to always need a dentist or an endodontist or whatever it is. But I think as a profession, we'd like to see people focus more on that preventative aspect of things. If we're doing sealants for you, we're doing a good cleaning for you, we're fixing minor cavities, that for us is so much easier, because if we can catch things early, we can catch things when they're small, we can help coach our patients, or at least tell our patients, like, hey, this is what we're doing wrong, and this is what we need to do right. So if we can catch it earlier, we are able to do our job so much better. And that is in educating patients about prevention, not necessarily saying, let's let this get so far that now you're in pain, and now you're seeing a guy like me to get a bunch of root canals done on your teeth so that you can save them. I'd much rather have the whole world kind of get in that, at least that mindset that I'm gonna go and see the dentist before I have a problem. And then if I have a major problem, at least they can know that we're here to fix that. A lot of times, a lot of my patients that I see, they're not there because they had a massive cavity. They're there because maybe they had trauma. They bumped their face, or they got hit in a tooth, and then the tooth died, and then I'll go in and fix that. But I don't know, it's just, this last week has been really kind of hard on me, because I've had so many patients come in there, a lot of them coming in to see the dentist for the first time in over a dozen years. And it's just hard for me to see that and just feel like, we're gonna get that person back to a state of health. We're going to get their teeth right. But at the same time, I just feel terrible. I feel like I wish somebody had told them earlier, because I know for me personally, I wish my dentist would have explained the science behind how cavities are formed, that it's not just sugar, that it's also having a low pH balance in our mouth, that it's also about, you know, not flossing regularly. If you leave a piece of food between your teeth, those carbohydrates become sugar. It becomes food for bacteria to then turn that bacteria, metabolize it, and they produce acid as a byproduct, and that acid breaks down our teeth. I mean, I was 10 or 11 years old when I remember my dentist said I had my first cavity, and he didn't tell me. I feel like at 10 or 11 I would have understood that. I would have understood that, like, at least what's going on a biological level to my teeth, so that when I do eat food, that's what I think about. I think about this food in my mouth is now causing these bacteria to produce acid. I need to go and clean that so I don't break down my teeth and I don't cost my parents hundreds of dollars in dental care. But that's really it. You know, this is my first video that I'm uploading to YouTube. I'm not going to do any video editing on this one. I was going on a rant and now I don't know what to say. I just feel like we all just got to be better, you know? Try not to do things that are going to hurt our bodies, you know? We have our doctors telling us not to smoke, and not to drink and all these other things. We have our dentist telling us not to eat sugar. And at the same time, we just want to enjoy eating what we like eating. But we do need to, I think, take notice and just be careful about those things. In a future video, you know, leave in the comments if you're watching this, kind of videos you might want to see from a dentist perspective. We'll just see how this goes, you know. Thanks for joining in, and make sure you subscribe, like the video. I really hope that I can provide sort of like an educational, I don't know, just educational YouTube channel, something about dentistry. You know, we got a lot of guys talking about medicine and other things, but I feel like this is sort of that field where my patients don't have a lot of understanding about dentistry. They don't even know what a root canal is half the time. So thought maybe this would be interesting for some people. But thanks again. Bye.